Okay, so next up we have Nishant Sharma from BITMAIN, who is going to talk about building trust within mining and specifically what BITMAIN have been doing to increase trust in themselves and across other participants.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Hello, everyone. My first time in Vancouver, arrived here 5 days ago. And after exploring the city, checking the restaurants and the shops, it seems very similar to the current city I live in, which is Beijing in China. Even a lot of the apps that I use in China work very well here, like Dianping, which is a restaurant finder, and also a home delivery service app works here. The Taobao, which is owned by Alibaba, the famous retail platform, also works here. And a friend of mine told me that the Chinese Tinder also works here very well. I'm waiting for a friend of mine to tell me more. I've only been here 5 days. So my name is Nishant, and I lead public and community relations at BITMAIN. And today I'll be talking about how a miner or a miner maker can build trust in the cryptocurrency communities that they operate in. And I have also included some groundbreaking measures that we at BITMAIN took to build trust with these communities. And I hope other companies can learn from it and also make similar case studies so we can learn from them. Now, trust. So building trust is a challenge in communities that are built on the value of trustlessness. And when a company becomes very competitive and big, it reminds a lot of people in these communities about the establishment that they wanted to escape when they joined these respective cryptocurrency communities. And it becomes even more challenging when you are a company like BITMAIN, which is a very hot topic in the cryptocurrency space. It's partly because some people want to capitalize on the buzzword that BITMAIN is, or some people want to just increase their social media followers by talking about how popular BITMAIN is. So yeah, we are no strangers to this trust challenge. And this rise to fame, if you may call it, of BITMAIN started when BITMAIN started manufacturing the world's most efficient Bitcoin miners and became owner of the world's largest cryptocurrency mining pools. And then it stayed that way because of BITMAIN's involvement in what is now described as the great scaling debate of Bitcoin, where BITMAIN took, following the lead of the most successful Bitcoin companies at that time, took a stance for Bitcoin being a medium of exchange, more importantly than a store of value, which was against the more propagated and established narrative of the time. Now, it is very unusual for a 3-year-old startup to take a stance for what they believe in against the most popular narrative at that time. And I realized this even more when I was researching for this presentation. It turns out that Brian Armstrong, the founder of Coinbase, has deleted this tweet from 2015 where he's advocating for a block size increase for Bitcoin. And this tweet was there in the beginning of this year. So sometime in Q1 or Q2, he went back and erased a tweet that is 4 years old. That is how sensitive it is for a company to take a stance for what they believe in, but what is against the more popular narrative. Having said that, we were 3 years old at that time, and we continue to adhere to the founding values of BITMAIN and the founding values of Bitcoin, or what our founders at BITMAIN believed Bitcoin to be, the power of Bitcoin to change the world, replace the financial systems, and etc. That brings me to the perseverance and integrity at BITMAIN. Now, our perseverance and integrity has helped us weather a lot of turbulent times on the PR front and be proven in the end, proven correct in the end. And we've had no dearth of such turbulent times. I will quickly give two big examples or exciting examples from some of the turbulent times that we've faced. One was an optimization technique called ASIC Boost that optimizes Bitcoin mining, makes it more efficient. And this optimization technique, we hoped that everyone can make use of this, and it can be open patent in the future. And so 3 years ago, we started adding support for it in our chips, so that someday in the future, when it's an open patent, the whole Bitcoin network can benefit from this optimization technique. However, 2 years ago, this is 1 year after we started adding support on our chips, some known malicious actors in the Bitcoin community raised allegations against BITMAIN for secretly using ASIC Boost to compete with our own customers. And they made it seem like some kind of attack on Bitcoin. And we came out within the same day. In one day, we made a response. To clear the air, we let everyone know that we have tested on the test net, but never on the main net, that we added support for it in our chips, hoping that someday the whole Bitcoin network can benefit from it. And we went on with business as usual. And then the same people who were raising allegations against Bitmain for using ASIC boost, which they thought was an attack on Bitcoin, started hailing a new miner maker as the new Bitmain killer or the Antminer killer. And turns out that that miner maker had slight competitive advantage at that time compared to our next generation Bitcoin miner of that time because they were using ASIC boost. So and ultimately now everyone uses ASIC boost, or every mining pool, every manufacturer. It's an optimization technique, just what we advocated from day one. Now there was another example, which was, so it needs some background. So in the spirit of open source, we open sourced our firmware for the Antminer machines. And thanks to that, some unknown but malicious actors in the Bitcoin community discovered a vulnerability in the code. And this vulnerability was serious. It allowed a man in the middle to take control of your Antminer. And to give you an idea of how serious this vulnerability was, so about that time, about 80 to 85% of the whole Bitcoin network was consisted of Antminer machines. It's not provable, but it's a widely accepted fact. So it was really serious. And whoever discovered it, instead of responsibly disclosing it to Bitmain, they coined a name for it, bought a domain name, created a website, made a logo, started social media campaigns to spread awareness of this issue, an issue that can get 80% of the hash power of Bitcoin down overnight. And they call it Antbleed. That's the website they created. Yeah, it's very sensational. It's not, I couldn't find it when I was making this presentation. So yeah, the domain name is available for you guys. And our community has a lot of meme makers. Meme makers followed. Now remember, this was open source firmware. That's how the vulnerability was found, in an open source code. So in the same spirit of open source that we had open sourced the firmware in the first place, we came out with a patched firmware within the same day that fixes this problem. And we continue to do our business. Now, how can others like us earn trust? Especially if you're a miner or a miner maker. Now, before I get into the groundbreaking measures or initiatives that we at Bitmain took, I would quickly talk about 3 things that I believe these measures should aim for. One is to increase industry-wide transparency. Second is to set better standards for mining practices. Now, miners in a proof-of-work-based ecosystem have a lot of responsibility, because there are many things a miner could do to negatively affect the cryptocurrency ecosystem, a proof-of-work-based cryptocurrency ecosystem. So they have a lot of responsibility. And start and maintain dialogues with the cryptocurrency communities that they operate in. Now, we started doing this more about 2 years ago, increased our dialogue with the communities that we operate in, which is also the reason I'm here today. And we collected the feedback from these communities, and we formulated a unique transparency policy, which consists of 4 very important initiatives. The first being our decision to disclose our entire hash rate. So I don't know of any large-scale miner in the whole world who discloses their own hash rate, but Bitmain does it. We update it every 30 days on our blog. You can go to that website, blog.bitmain.com/en for English, /hashrate-disclosure. And yeah, you can see everything we are mining with whatever power we have and mining it. Now, after we uploaded it, soon I realized why no one else does it. Because when, for some reason, for some business decision, we had 88% reduction in the Bitcoin mining power of our own, the news jumped on it and started speculating on how our business is going bad. That's why we are not mining Bitcoin that much anymore, which is anyway a small part of the business. We don't mine Bitcoins ourselves that much. It's a minority business. Another step, a very important one that we started was our zero tolerance policy towards secret mining. Now, secret mining is described as a practice by which a manufacturer of mining hardware, instead of releasing new generation mining hardware, uses it to secretly mine for itself. And yeah, that's called secret mining. And we have a zero tolerance policy against it because of two reasons. One, which is very simple. Our main income generator is selling mining machines and a mining experience. If we start competing with our customers unfairly, it's going to jeopardize the mining experience, which is our main income generator. Because we just don't want to sell one mining machine. We want to sell a great mining experience so people come back for more. And that is why it's just counterproductive for us to do secret mining. Second reason, we believe that it's not healthy for the long-term growth of a proof-of-work-based cryptocurrency ecosystem. Now, another step or initiative we took was our commitment to not mine empty blocks. And if empty blocks were mined, because they have been mined at an unusually excessive rate in the past, but that's because of the technical challenges of Bitcoin protocol, not because of any particular reason or political statement that we wanted to make. And so if that happens again, if my empty blocks are mined at an unusually excessive rate in the future, we will seek the reasons and disclose it. Now, the last but a very important point or initiative that we took, which is also very relevant to the ETC community, is that we will transparently ship any first batch of a new generation ASIC miner. So whenever we have a new ASIC for a cryptocurrency, we will ship the first batch transparently, so both the customer of that ASIC and the community that is affected by the ASIC can plan beforehand. This was thanks to mainly the Zcash community and Zuko, thanks to them for proactively giving us the feedback that directly resulted in us coming up with this initiative. And we also implemented it when we launched the first Zcash ASIC miner, Z9 Mini. We shipped them transparently as we would get updates from the QA. So in the mining industry, we just want to ship the machine out ASAP, because once you purchase the machine, you're losing money as long as you don't have that machine, because the difficulty is going up. So we are always just competing with ourselves to ship the machine out ASAP, which means as soon as the QA is done, we ship it out. So QA, or quality assurance, has the last green light to send the machine out. So the QA would send us updates on which machine is being shipped, and we would treat it in real time. So the Zcash community, as well as the buyers of those machines, knew beforehand how many machines are being shipped and when they will get their machines and when they can expect them to go online. Now, looking ahead, now to sum it up, I think any miner or miner maker should try to remember what got them there in the first place. This is if you want to build better trust with the communities that you operate in. And always stick by the founding values of cryptocurrencies, which got you into crypto in the first place, like we did in the examples that I took. And yeah, these initiatives assure industry stakeholders that we are committed to an ecosystem that's fair and transparent. And together, we can build a mining and miner-making sector that is trusted by all, not just those in the cryptocurrency ecosystem, but also the whole world that is yet to join the cryptocurrency ecosystem. With that, I will not take any more of your time. Thank you. So I think we have time for questions. Yeah.
Why do you think Bitmain doesn't have very many competitors?
Why? What?
Why does Bitmain not have very many competitors?
So there are a few competitors already. When I joined the space, Bitmain was an underdog. They were like, everyone was seeing this as the analogy to the California gold rush, and everyone was making ASIC miners around the world, including my previous employer. We were making ASIC miners based out of Shenzhen. And there was Butterfly Labs, and there was KNC Miner, and so many others, Pondulis, etc. Bitmain was just the best at its game. And that is why I joined Bitmain later when we couldn't keep up. We also pulled the plug because there was no option when the 2015 market crash happened. And Bitmain was just doing everything right because my customers would come back to me and tell me, hey, Bitmain ship the machine on time. Hey, Bitmain machine is performing very well. It's been like 7 days and 24/7 it's running and performing, which was a big deal back in the day. 7 days, a machine performing, miner performing well was a very big deal. And our machines didn't. The last company I worked for didn't have the same results. So I knew Bitmain was doing everything right. That's why I joined Bitmain, and that is probably why it's successful. Which also means that any other company could be successful by just making sure they ship quality products and reliable products.
Thank you.
So I was just wondering, when you were talking about mining empty blocks earlier, and like I know there was the whole ASIC boost thing, but there was the two versions, covert ASIC boost, which is the one people I think were more accusing you of doing it in a way that people wouldn't notice, and the result was empty blocks. So is that why you implemented, like, because it was a bit of reputational damage. I remember when that happened. Is that what?
So the empty blocks wasn't any, the initiative that we took wasn't associated to ASIC boost controversy.
Oh, okay.
It was a separate thing. Because in the past, there was a time when, and pool, because we are always working on ways to improve block propagation, because it helps the customers of the mining pool, and we want to be competitive to be the biggest mining pool. So they were doing some experiments or working on something, and because of which they had mining blocks coming out. And at that time, because the great scaling debate was going on, people on the other side connected our empty blocks to an intentional political statement made by us. And so we came up with this initiative, so no one thinks again that we are trying to consciously mine empty blocks.
Awesome, thank you. I guess the other one would be, so you do mine, obviously, SHA-2 coins. You have an active hash rate that you publish. But
Yeah.
so the question would be like, so do you, and you also mentioned you don't mainly mine Bitcoin, so are you mining like minority chains at a loss?
Oh, but when I said we don't mine ourselves, I didn't mean just Bitcoin. We don't mine ourselves any of the cryptocurrencies too much.
Yeah, but your SHA machines, your 237 petahashes, like, do you not point that automatically at the most profitable chain?
Yes, it is automatically pointed to the most profitable chain.
Between,
Yeah.
Obviously my question is between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, for SHA-256, yes.
It's always profitable. Okay,
Yes,
that's good.
the reason we don't disclose the chain itself is because we don't want people to be thinking that we are doing something purposely, or we don't want it. The reason to disclose it is to just let everyone know our hash power,
Yeah.
but not cause more conspiracies.
It's so easy to make more conspiracies about you guys.
Yeah, so we don't disclose the name of the particular chain, just the
Okay,
hash
that's
power.
good, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, you shared a lot of good information. Thank you.
Any more questions? We still have 2.5 minutes.
Due to the tariffs or possible tariffs that are going to be going on in the States, are you guys seeing a lot more interest in Canada?
So yes and no. Yes, as in there are more tariffs shipping to the US than there used to be. Still, Canada is lagging behind when it comes to mining because of the red tapeism involved. Getting the permission for your mining farm takes forever in Canada. Yeah, I think that the red tapeism is the bummer.
Okay.
Any more questions? We have 2 minutes. All right. Thank you, Bob.